have these three pillars as we spoke before. Next. Now we see how these three pillars become the context by which we form the cube of your reality, and this is where I will wrap up. Quickly, the cube now is constructed, very quickly, of three space. The three Sephirothic pillars now become 1, 2, 3-dimensional areas of space. Understand that the three pillars of the Sephiroth essentially are telling you right now, I've told you they were two-dimensional, as a two-dimensional schematic of a 10-dimensional reality. The 10-dimensional reality begins on the pattern of 3, which represents the three pillars. Next, now you see that the three pillars now become the invested in structure of what becomes the lockdown code for the cube. From experience, life, from existence first. The first line is existence. The second line is life. The third line is experience. And each one has a sigil or a fire sigil that rules that one. The four of them meaning the four elementals, or the four elements of fire, air, water, and earth. Next. Notice that we see that all that comes in with existence is pre-conscious. All that comes in with life is unconscious. And then you see all that comes to the reality that we are here sharing and existing is an outgrowth of what is unconscious to what you see as conscious. So here's how we are working out the cube. Go ahead. The cube now, as we follow along on the spaces that we have written out, these three space, the three space now creates realities in conjunction with the direction that the lines are taking. And now, through syntax, through our perception, we are filling out the cube, the individual cube of space. Next. Now we notice that in existence, we have one parameter, or the ceiling and the floor, to our cube. Next. Along the path, we see here another set to the cube, each one being a polarity, as we spoke of the other. Next. The next polarity is, we see the two sides, the outer sides. Next. Now, when we see all these three, the pillars of mercy and so forth, come together to fill the Sephirothic timetable for existence, next, we watch all of them come together at one time. And what we see is, along this line, we see past and future. Along this line, we see sensation and perception. Along this line, we see the self, who we are, and that part of us that we wish to reach all the way up there that we don't know too much about, we call the other. Inside of this whole experiential reality becomes the cube that you, as the center, reference. These now become your perceptual thresholds. And it is these perceptual thresholds that they manipulate and keep you locked down in that box, in that cube. Again, we see that there is indeterminate, each one of these, and I'm putting them as a template for you to read, because we'll be coming back to it next. Again, you see the container also being added into union, movement, formation, cosmic consciousness, existence, unconscious, unconditioned, physical supports, resistance, indeterminate, container life. Keep going. I would explain everything. Now you see how the cube, used with the sigils that I spoke to you about, each one of these sigils become the borders of your reality. They use the Hebrew, what they call Ibiu, what I call the Kumedu, as threshold components to your consciousness matrix. They can set up this vibratory load. Know that inside of your computer, there are sigils set up in the form of circuits that vibrate these very tonal signals. The television, the new cube televisions, the one that have all the bright pictures, they're all lockdown frequencies that are coming off of this, and all you are doing, you can't turn off the television. Sometimes I look at this shit and I said, why can't I get up and go turn the damn thing on? Because they use these sigils and signals as ways to lock down your consciousness matrix. Keep going. And why am I saying this? Keep going. It's a hijacking the Kemetic Renaissance, fear of a black extraterrestrial. Go ahead. Here are the pyramid fault lines we spoke about. All of them. Patterns. All along here. And look along the Yucatan Peninsula and look along here. Keep going. The reason why I want you to see this is because the pyramids of Sakata are aligned to the star system Andromeda. Are you ready for your people? You've been bullshitting with the history man for these shit. Your people left you star signals. Your people left you a template to find your way back home. And if you get up off your ass in church and start studying the metaphysics and stop worrying about what this cracker's doing, you're always worried about the white man. He's worried about you. He's worried about you finding this shit out. But he's telling his own people. He's telling his own people right here in this new book. Keep going. I'll tell you about it in a minute. The symbol of Orion is set up directly like the pyramids of Giza. Exactly like the pyramids of Giza. Keep going forward. Look at the Nile River and look at the Milky Way. Look at the Nile River and look at the star systems along the Milky Way and look at where they put the pyramids. And your Christian priest tells you that astrology is wickedness. I just stood down. Here you are along the Nile River. Here you are along the celestial Nile River. Next. Here you are, the configurations of these particular cities. Yeah, we built the pyramids. So fucking what? Why did we build the pyramids? Why did we build the pyramids? Yeah, we do great things, but why do we do them? Is it for some stupid reason we ain't had nothing to do? Let's just hire a few dumb assholes. Let's put some bricks together. Look at Stonehenge. White people really think that they did that shit. White folks are something else. It's a star map, but you see what they're doing is they're talking to themselves, but they believe they're talking about themselves. They're not talking about themselves. They're talking to themselves, thinking they're talking about themselves. Think about that. Next, here's the map of Stonehenge, and people are not really picking up on what Stonehenge is. Stonehenge, Winterbourne, Stoke Barrows. Next, you see that it is aligned with the Pleiades star system. They left us places for us. They even left a little bit for white people to check out. Next. Very quickly, you watch Stonehenge, and now they figured out that Stonehenge essentially, next, that essentially Stonehenge is exactly what we've been telling you about when it comes to the star system. Next, you'll find out that Stonehenge essentially is the Vitruvian man. Now you know Da Vinci studied our shit. He was persecuted. He said, they do not allow me to do the real occult work, so if I hide it in my artwork, and he got all this artwork, nobody can figure it out, but it's all about your secret sciences hidden inside of the artwork. Next, you see here that in the Sephar